Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to paint the Sahara Desert. We'll be needing flat brushes and round brushes, or probably a rigger brush. So for the colors that we'll be using, we're going to use yellow ochre, this is just an ordinary paper, just to show you the colors. An orange yellow. If you have a deeper orange yellow, it's much better. So we'll be needing vermilion or any orange. Then you'll have your burnt sienna, sepia, there you go, and red brown. So if you don't have red brown, just add pink to your brown or any red to your brown. So it's a bit darker than your burnt sienna because your burnt sienna is much more yellowish than this red brown. So these are the colors, and indigo blue. We'll be using indigo blue for the colors. Okay, so there, you may tape your paper on board. I'm going to use ultramarine blue at the top later on. Okay, so I'm going to wet my paper front and back. And let's do that so that we can add the colors. Okay. Let's check if you don't have to wet the back of the paper. But most probably you will be needing to wet it. So let's wet this one. Let's wet the paper. Let the water absorb the paper. Okay, so I think I need to wet the back as well because the paper is warping. There we go. I am using 100% cotton, 300 GSM, Fabriano Artistico. So there. And the size is around 10 by 14 inches. Okay, so I'm pretty much happy. I'm going to use ultramarine blue or cerulean blue. So cerulean blue for my clouds, and I'm going to mix I mix cobalt blue and cerulean blue. Okay, there you go. I'm gonna use that for my sky. Just add those colors, and then probably along the side. I am very careful because this one has yellow, so therefore you will definitely have greens. So let's not do that. Okay, or you probably can wait for it to dry up before you add your yellows. Okay, so the watercolor will spread along those sides, as you can see here. So let's try to clean them up at this stage. Okay, and this one would be my highlighted part. That's why I'm removing all the paint that's going near there. So as much as possible. Yeah, that's some paint, that's okay, but no colors. Okay, so adding more color, cobalt blue and cerulean blue. Okay, so if you want to put more colors over here, you can. There, under the clouds. So, and then you can try to soften those areas to make them look like they're cloudy. But sometimes I don't want to dwell so much on the sky because, as you know, as you dwell so much on it, the more it will be fuzzy. But I want to put more gray and a little bit of, I'm going to add a little bit of burnt sienna to my blue, my cobalt blue. There. I want to create a sort of gray. Cool gray. See? That's a cool gray. Okay, and then add it to some of the areas. It's a bit greenish, so be careful. Any nice gray would do. This is like a shadow green color. So if you want to diffuse that, you can add a little bit of indigo blue, but indigo blue is so dark. So there. And add more blue to somehow diffuse that. Okay, I added more blue. Ta-da! Yeah, that's better. Okay, and then soften, and lighten the colors. Be careful when you do this. Okay, my paper is still wet at this stage, front and back. And I can feel that it's drying up, so I better stop playing with the sky. There. So I will let go and stop playing with the sky. So I'm happy with that. We are in the Sahara Desert, remember? So I'm pretty sure there are clouds there. Okay, next. We're going to, our paper is still wet. See? You can remove all of this. But not that wet. Okay, so I like this paper because it's quite thick. So I'm done with the clouds. Be careful with this one. Change your brush if you need to. We're going to use yellow ochre. If you have Naples yellow, I think it's better. But Naples yellow is lighter. So let's do yellow ochre. Let's use yellow ochre. Okay, yellow ochre. And then add a bit of brilliant orange. Yellow ochre with brilliant orange. So it's a yellow-orange color. Be careful. Let's not try to make it spread, because look, it will still move. So I forgot to send you the copy of my sketch a while ago. Let me try to sketch that later. So let's have yellow ochre again on this side, but I will leave that space because I can see that it's really going fast. So I'm leaving that part. It's okay to have this colored because they're going to be dark later on. This is like my base color. So you can use any of your permanent yellow deep, any yellow-orange color. If you don't have, you may add a little bit of orange. And look at that. Okay, so this is purely yellow ochre and permanent yellow deep. Such a nice color with a little bit of orange. So that's our base color for the desert. Okay, so there. Now this is a bit warmer. I guess that's fine. I am drying my brush and I am lifting some of those because before it reaches the clouds. There we go. And at this stage, I want everything to dry up. I hope. So while this is still wet, let's drop in some dark colors. Okay. This will be light, I hope. Let's see. So I want this to be light, the lightest part, and this is a bit dark, so this is where our light is. Okay. Now we can try to do our quinacridone, burnt orange or burnt sienna. So there's burnt sienna. It's a bit darker than what we have now. So we can add some partition already. Let's say here, in order for us to differentiate the layers of the desert. Actually, this one doesn't matter. So we just need to know where Like for example, this one, they're going to create a shadow over here. So we might as well make this darker. Okay. Let's make this darker. We can use red brown. A warm red color. There you go. And they just create a sort of gradient. So light brown. I am now using yellow ochre and just spreading that dark color. But of course, it has to be lighter. And I am using a flat brush and I'm just spreading all of these. And this one is relatively easy. It's an easier task than what we have done before. If you see that spread, lift with your brush and it will automatically be lifted. So now we can create more darker colors. Okay, so lift. This one is spreading heavily. We can lift. Okay. And we're already creating the partitions or the layers. So this one is on top of this one. Okay, there. So somehow you'll be able to see a little bit of those. Now again, if this is still wet, you can add. My brush is a bit dry now. And I can feel my paper drying as well. So there. I clean my brush. And I'm just softening the edges. Softening the edges in order for us to differentiate. And then one more color. It's a burnt sienna. So to separate this one, I want to separate this side. There. There's a person there. So again, yellow ochre. I have that gradient and different coloring. I want this to be light so that it's differentiated from that. Okay, there you go. So hopefully you can see the differences. You may use a small round brush for this or your rigger brush. So I'm just creating, this is red brown, shadows along this because it's a bit dry now. So you can create those shadows and clean up. But I want that to be light. This color is sepia. Okay, so a little bit darker. Okay. Oops. That should be red brown. This one should be red brown. So I'm cleaning this up. Okay. So add more. I'm going to use my round brush now. I'm using burnt sienna. There. Because I want to differentiate these two valleys. There you go. There. So now, sepia on this side. Okay, now you can make this darker. And make this a little bit. And so you see the difference in the layers. So that's where the light is. I want this to be lighter also. Okay, there. Okay. Now, on the front, you can probably add, what can we add? We can add some grass or cactus in front of you. Cactus, yeah. Let's add some cactus, a shadow green color, a dark green color. There. Okay. So it's darker. You can add indigo blue. And then let's try to put some. Okay, it's a bit wet, so make sure you have thick paint and less water on your brush. Okay, less water on your brush. So we're going to create cactus. Okay, so any cactus on the field would do. Let's check. Okay. Yeah, that's all right. The spreading is very nice. So be careful when you do this. It should be a little bit dry but still wet. There you go. So we have now You can now paint some cactus in front. And then it's gonna spread. This one's gonna spread. So we have one more. Let's pretend this to be here. Okay, yeah, I like the spreading very much. Okay, and then let's add some pretend dead dead leaves. So I'm mixing my browns and my greens. Can add a little bit of grass over here. And this is much bigger because this is nearer. Okay, there, so that you know that this is separated from those behind. Okay, so there. This is quite strong. This color is quite strong. I am trying to diffuse a little bit of that and add browns. Okay, so I'm gonna add brown. There you go. Okay, gonna add a little of that brown. So you can use umber for that color because it's green with umber. Okay, there. And hopefully your painting is dry when you go over here. Okay, I want to add more color because when this one dries up, it will totally lighten. So I'm adding just some colors, red brown over here. There. Okay, then probably I will now do, I'm gonna heat gun so that I'm sure that this is really dry. Okay, that's the last step. It's quite easy in today's session. Now let me get my heat gun. So this one, I needed that to be dry. So let's dry them before it spreads a lot. I can still feel them spreading right now. Now, in order for them not to spread, what you do is you remove this, and I'm gonna flip this because this is wet, so it's continue to be wet forever. So this one is dry, and we can now put it and let it do the heat gun. Dry the painting. The earth colors are very granulating. See that? So I'm going to clean that up with a clean damp brush. Clean this one. So I'm using the eradicator brush or any stiff brush. I'm going to clean this part. Because it has spread so much. So let me just clean it. There we go. Be careful when you do this, because they are now at different levels. Okay. I'm just going to soften so that they're of the same level. They don't have the same level of wetness now. The softness is gone. Okay, sorry. Just trying to repair it now. I'll repair it later. Okay. Okay, paper is a bit dry, still damp. Hold on. There. Let me just do this. There we go. Okay, so now let's repair that. So to repair that, get clean water. Wet this area because you want this to be soft and not harsh. So I'm softening. This is wet. And I'm gonna add yellow ochre with permanent yellow deep. There you go. It will spread a bit because we wet this again. And we're gonna darken some of the areas with quinacridone, with burnt sienna or quinacridone burnt orange. Okay, so I like the color earlier. I don't like the color now, but that's fine. Rather than losing this piece. Okay. So it's a bit greenish in to my eyes. There. So let's add a bit of, I want to somehow make it a little bit orangey because it looks greenish to me now. So let's add, I'm gonna add orange to make it warmer. The Sahara Dessert is warmer, warmer. There you go. Warmer than usual. There. And let's see. That's fine. I guess this is fine. The water is still spreading because we wet this area. Okay. Yeah, okay, so that's good. This one is a bit closer. Now, since that's warm, we add more warm color to our red brown so as to unify the colors. I'm going to put burnt sienna over here. I wet the area, then spread red brown with orange. Now this is just water to make it a little bit warmer. This is just water again. It's just spreading and to have that gradient look. Okay, just water. There you go. And of course, I am making some crisp lines along the partition so that we know that it's a different valley from what we have. There you go. Okay. So, I'm a bit happier now. And I want, oh, there's a person here, so that's fine. Okay, yeah, better. Okay, now I am going to focus on this one. But first, let's heat gun again because this one is dry. One should be dry. I want you to practice the camels before you do this because it's something that can destroy your painting. Okay, so it's a touch move one. So before you do that, you can practice on making the camel. It would look like dinosaurs. Yeah, it would look like dinosaurs. Okay, like Brontosaurus Rex. So what's important is that it's shorter than a Brontosaurus Rex. Now let me repair that part. Okay, this part. That's just orange. Okay, there. That's just orange. Okay. I see things when I dry it up. And that's not good. Okay. So let me repair this. There you go. Okay. This is orange. Okay. It's just water. There you go. Okay, so now that this is dry, you can add some details. Okay, some details over here as well, using dry brush technique over here. For this, so it looks like a cactus. There you go. Okay, now for this, you may use a small brush. So I'm using a very small brush. Use indigo blue. Thick paint. Okay. So start very small with a very small head. And it's as if they are on the desert, kneeling down and having a hard time with the wind. So there, curve, camel, short, make the body short because it would look like feet. It would look like Brontosaurus Rex. There. We're done with one camel. Looks like a turtle. Sometimes it would look like a turtle. Sometimes it would look like a Brontosaurus Rex. And there's a person on top. Just a circle and a dot. Okay, and hopefully we'll move on to the next one. There, camel. Sometimes it would look like ostrich as well. But hopefully they would look like camels. Okay, there. It's like they have a hat. See? Sometimes they look like really... There, okay, so just look from afar so that they won't look like ostriches or turtles or Brontosaurus Rex, but they would look like camels. Okay. Small head for the camel. And don't make it long. The moment you make it long, and that's the time you will lose it. There. Odd numbers. So if you did 4, you have to create one more. Okay. And then one last. Hopefully they would look like camels again. S-curve, then feet, and then the head. Okay, the silhouette. Okay, now we can now add a little bit of shadow to these camels. Okay, they cast this shadow. Doesn't have to be perfect shadows. The head, the body, and the person on top. And then of course the line. Okay, pretend there's a line over there. There you go. We have a shadow on the desert. Okay, so since the shadow is there, let's add some shadows over here also for your plants. And add some water. And there you go. So light is coming from here. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so there. And now we can sign our painting. So this is saying goodbye to Africa and saying hi to Korea for a next month celebration of the watercolor aficionados. Please stay tuned because we have lots of surprises for July. Okay, so bye everybody.